Let's explore a concept that can be a bit philosophical but has very practical consequences: the unity of personality, or what I like to call the unity of the self. In simpler terms, it's about getting all parts of you, your mind, thoughts, your heart, emotions, and your actions, heading in the same direction, like a well-coordinated team all pursuing the same victory. Have you ever watched a rowing team in a boat? If they're in sync, the boat glides powerfully forward. But if one rower is out of sync, the boat wobbles or slows. Similarly, when different parts of us want different things or operate under different assumptions, we waver, stall, or even sabotage ourselves. Adlerian psychology posits that each person deep down has a unified direction. Even if it might be misguided, we act in ways that serve our perceived goal or lifestyle, as we discussed in the previous session. But often on the surface, it feels like we have conflicting desires. One part of me wants to get fit. Another part wants that extra piece of cake. One part of me wants intimacy. Another part fears getting hurt and pushes people away. One part of me wants to shine at work. Another part procrastinates out of anxiety. Sound familiar? These inner tug-of-wars can be exhausting. The goal of achieving unity of self is to resolve these conflicts so that your whole being is invested in your chosen goals and values. Imagine the power when every aspect of you is working together. There's an incredible increase in energy and effectiveness. Let's talk about why these splits happen. Usually it's because we have multiple goals or needs that seem to clash. Using the cake example, we have a goal of health, but we also have a need for comfort, pleasure in the moment. Both are valid in their own way. The conflict arises when the strategy to fulfill one undermines the other. Unity of self would mean finding a way to honor both needs to a degree. Maybe finding a healthy dessert that satisfies the sweet craving, or reminding the emotional part of you seeking comfort that you'll actually feel more proud and comfortable in your skin if you stick to your health plan, thus aligning emotional desire with long-term desire. A more psychological conflict might be between belonging versus becoming, the desire to fit in and be accepted versus the desire to grow and differentiate as an individual. Sometimes people hold themselves back from success because they, unconsciously, fear it will alienate them from others. Like, if I get too successful, my friends might envy me and abandon me. So they have one foot on the gas and one on the brake. Unity would come from reconciling those, perhaps by finding friends who celebrate your success, or by assuring yourself that you can succeed and still be humble and connected. Another common inner divide is between logic and emotion. For example, logically you know you should forgive someone, but emotionally you still feel hurt and angry. Or logically you know an anxiety is irrational, but you still feel it. Unity of self doesn't mean ignoring one or the other. It means creating a dialogue between them so they come to an understanding. Perhaps the mind can persuade the heart by acknowledging its feelings and then gently showing a bigger picture. Or the heart can inform the mind that something valuable needs attention that pure logic was missing, like an emotional truth. One thing I have always emphasized is that we are holistic beings. You cannot separate mind and body, or conscious and unconscious completely. They all influence each other constantly. So unity is actually our natural state. Disunity is often a result of societal pressures or faulty beliefs that pull us away from our authentic selves. Let's talk about authenticity. Unity of personality is closely tied to living authentically, meaning your outer life genuinely reflects your inner values and true identity. If you value honesty but find yourself in a job that requires deceit, you're going to feel a lot of inner stress. Unity is disrupted because action and values are at odds. The solution might be to either find a way to be honest or change jobs. Similarly, if you're a creative spirit but you're forcing yourself into a conventional life that pleases someone else, internally you'll feel split and dissatisfied. Aligning with your true inclinations will restore unity. For example, making time for creativity even if you maintain your day job. Sometimes people have a conflict between what they think they should want and what they actually want. Society, family, or culture might have given you a script. Maybe I should want to get married and have kids, and that's success. But perhaps deep down you value a life of travel and independence, or vice versa. Unity of self requires confronting those shoulds and being honest about what you really want, then reorganizing your life towards that. One more type of unity issue: the conflict between past and future orientations. Some folks are stuck in past regrets or traumas, while another part of them wants to move forward. It can feel like dragging a heavy anchor. Achieving unity might involve healing or reframing the past, so it's not at odds with growth, as in making peace with it and even integrating it into your story as a source of strength. And then all parts of you can agree, yes, we had pain, but we learned and we want a better future. So how do we foster this unity practically? Here are some strategies. Clarify your core values. Take time to really list out what matters to you most in life. Is it family, creativity, security, freedom, helping others, faith, knowledge, etc.? Once you know your top values, check if your daily life aligns with them. Misalignment causes internal friction. For instance, if helping others is a core value, but you're in a job you feel does the opposite, you'll feel unhappy until you find a way, inside or outside work, to fulfill that value regularly. Set clear goals, guided by those values. When you set a goal, also ask, do all parts of me agree on this goal? If there's hesitation, find out why. Maybe the goal needs tweaking to accommodate a concern. Suppose your goal is to get a promotion, value, achievement, but part of you resists because it knows it will mean less family time, value, family. The solution might be to pursue the promotion, but also set boundaries around home time, or involve your family in the decision so they support you. Inner dialogue. This is a technique where you literally have a conversation on paper or in your mind between your conflicting parts. For example, write a dialogue between the part of you that wants to rest and the part of you that wants to work harder. Let them each voice their feelings and needs. Often, you'll find they can negotiate a compromise, like scheduling dedicated rest time and dedicated focus time, so each part feels heard and satisfied. It might sound a bit odd, but it's surprisingly effective at getting to the heart of internal issues and generating solutions. Mindfulness and checking in. Develop a habit of checking in with yourself when you make decisions or if you feel uneasy. Ask, is there something inside me that's not on board with what I'm doing right now? If you feel a tightness or reluctance, pause and investigate. Maybe you're about to agree to an obligation you don't actually have time for. One part of you is saying yes out of guilt. Another part is screaming no because you're already exhausted. Better to delay the answer. Sort out your real priority. Maybe you do need to say no politely, and then proceed with a unified heart. Address unresolved emotions. Sometimes unity is blocked because an unresolved emotional issue acts like a rogue program in the background. For instance, unaddressed grief or anger can cause you to behave in ways that conflict with your goals, like lashing out at a new friend because of old anger from a past betrayal. Working through those emotions, maybe with journaling, therapy, or honest conversation, can free you so that your emotional state supports your present intentions rather than derailing them. Body-mind alignment. Adler believed in the integration of mind and body. Physical well-being supports mental unity. If your body is drained or tense, it's harder for your mind to be in harmony. Practices like exercise, yoga, or even a simple walk can integrate your physical and mental states. Have you ever noticed how, after some exercise or relaxation, your thoughts and feelings feel more balanced? Taking care of your body is not separate from your psychological alignment. It's a part of it. Wholehearted decisions. When faced with a choice, try to choose with your whole heart. If you commit to something, commit fully. Indecision or half commitment splits energy. It's like the old proverb, a man who chases two rabbits catches neither. Once you've reasoned it out and made the best choice you can, throw yourself into it. If doubts linger, address them early, adjust the plan, or reaffirm why you chose it. Then proceed with unity. All systems go. Now, an example of unity unlocking success. Perhaps you've heard of Bruce Lee, the famous martial artist and actor. He was not Adlerian, but he talked a lot about the importance of having mind and body as one, being like water, fully present and integrated. In his training, he worked on eliminating internal opposition, any hesitation or extraneous thoughts, so that when he decided to punch, his entire being punched as one force. That's unity in action physically, but it's also mental. He had to overcome fears or doubts so that his instinct, emotion, and intellect were aligned toward the single goal of being a master martial artist. The result was almost superhuman speed and power. He even wrote affirmations like, "I, Bruce Lee, will be the first highest-paid Oriental superstar in the United States," aligning his mind to his purpose. And indeed, he achieved extraordinary success. We might not aspire to be martial arts stars, but the principle holds: align everything toward your purpose, and you become a powerhouse. Another realm. Consider someone like Malala Yousafzai, the girls' education activist. Even after surviving being shot, she emerged with seemingly no inner conflict about what she stood for. She speaks with total conviction and calm courage. One could say her mind, heart, and soul are unified around her cause. That clarity and unity give her immense influence and resilience. There is no doubt or internal contradiction diluting her message or resolve. She knows who she is and what her mission is through and through. What about more everyday scenarios? Think of a small business owner who loves their craft but hates the marketing side, causing them to neglect it, and the business suffers. They have a split. I want my business to succeed versus I hate promoting myself. To achieve unity, they'd need to reconcile that, maybe reframing marketing as sharing something valuable with people, aligning it with their passion for the craft, or finding a way to do it that feels authentic rather than salesy. Once they do, the business can flourish because every part of them is working for its success, not against. One more subtle aspect. Unity of self also means owning your decisions wholeheartedly. If you constantly second-guess yourself, you're dividing your energy. It's like driving with the parking brake on. Train yourself that once a decision is made, after appropriate consideration, you support it. If new info emerges, fine, you can adjust logically. But banish the pointless, "What if I made the wrong choice?" rumination. Trust yourself. This mental unity, trust in oneself, is key for moving gracefully through life. In summary, strive to align your goals with your true values so there's no conflict between what you're after and what matters to you. Align your habits and actions with those goals so what you do daily actually leads toward what you want. Align your emotional mindset with your actions, finding motivation and positive emotion in pursuit of your goals, addressing any fears or guilt that conflict. Align your self-image with your aspirations. See yourself as the kind of person who achieves those aspirations, not as someone unworthy or incapable. When you feel that alignment, you'll notice things like increased confidence, less procrastination, more peace of mind, and a sense of authenticity. Challenges become easier to face because you're not fighting on two fronts, the external challenge and your internal doubts, disunity. You have an inner solidarity. It's a bit like an orchestra playing in tune. When each instrument, aspect of you, is playing its own random tune, it's chaos. But when they all follow the same sheet music, you get a beautiful symphony and much greater impact. So ask yourself, is there any area of my life where I'm out of tune, where I say I want something but act otherwise, or where part of me feels left behind or unheard? That's where to apply these ideas. To close, I want to encourage you to experience the peace and power that comes from inner unity. It's not about being rigid or monolithic. You'll still be a multifaceted person, but those facets will cooperate rather than conflict. When you align your mind, heart, and purpose, you gain tremendous power. All your energy is going in one direction. No more self-sabotage. You become not only more successful in your endeavors, but also more at peace with yourself. And that is a profound kind of success on its own. Strive for that inner harmony. Listen to your various inner voices. Address their concerns. Align them toward what you deeply value. And you will unlock a force within that makes the once difficult now achievable. With unity of personality, you become, in a sense, unstoppable.